to ZotReach, the show where we dive into the experiences, stories, and challenges faced by international students. Together, we'll explore their journeys, celebrate their successes, and discuss practical solutions to help them thrive. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get started. Hi everyone, I'm Madison X, your host for this quarter. I am a second-year psychological science student at UC Irvine, and I am also an international student from China. Being in a new country as a student comes with a mix of excitement and challenges, and that's exactly what we're here to talk about today. So today, for our very first episode, we're talking about the common challenges international students may face. From academics and social life to family dynamics, there are a lot to going on. Here we have a wonderful guest to join us. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Siyu P. I am an international student from China. I'm a third year and I'm doubling in literary journalism and film and media studies.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, and let's jump right in. As international students, we all know that challenges could pop up in almost every part of life, and one of the biggest one is being away from our families. Do you face the same challenge?
I came to US since high school, so it's been my 7th or 6th year here. There are still many moments that I feel really fatigued or it's just unable to talk with my parents. In UC Irvine, I get to know that I'm part of the first-gen community because anyone whose parents is not graduating from college in the US will be categorized as first-gen, right? So it makes sense now that my parents don't understand what I'm experiencing. The college system in China has so many differences compared to the one in the US. So there's a lot of time that when I talk to them, they can't understand and I can't explain to them because they can't see my life.
So for you, how do you think you can handle those moments? Do you try to explain, or do you lean on other support system like friends?
From high school to now in third year in college, I keep trying to talk to them about cultural differences, let them know what my experiences here are. But yes, living in a different culture and with this distance with our parents, we can't not just depend on them, right? For school resources, I was in the Summer Edge for my freshman summer. This is a program that a month before the actual quarter of your first year starts. You take 8 units of class. There are mentors and professors. They'll help you. Basically, you just get to know how college works before everyone else. And I am also part of the IPG mentee. IPG is under ISCP. And from the IPG program, I have a mentor. Luckily, she's also Chinese, so we have a lot of common areas. And then she lead me to a new friend group, a lot of other school resources. And then I also reach out to advising office a lot, when I was trying to doubling a major. As I mentioned before, I had made a lot of friends as well. I think friends are the most part that helps me support through those moments that I can't actually talk through with my parents. They make part of my life.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and those are really good examples and ways. Speaking of friends, it's also interesting how over time we find ways to build emotional support system beyond family. And that brings me to another thing I wanted to talk about, which is social life. So figuring out how to adjust socially is probably one of the hardest parts of studying abroad. Between cultural differences and language barriers, it can be tough to make connections. So how has it been for you when it comes to making friends here?
Most of my friends are Chinese. I have a few local friends, but I met them all through classes, and our bonding are not that deep. Because I think language and cultural barriers has led us to a place that we can share lunch, we can talk about our classes, our professors, we can all hate our professors, but we can't actually there's something deep inside that different cultures can resonate with each other.
Yeah.
Right? Things they talk about parties, about, what's viral on the internet. For them, I can't relate and I don't understand. And I hate when I myself interrupt them and ask, what is something something, and it's really a bummer to them as well. So I have a lot of students from a similar background with me that they can actually resonate me, and we can talk a lot. So for now, I think I tend to connect to people who has less cultural difference and language barriers with me, but I am having a really good social life at this stage.
Yeah, since you brought up, I am totally agree with you that sometimes when coming with those internet and like the slang thing, it's like really hard to follow up what's like viral right now or like recently.
Because the English we learn.
Yeah,
is the formal one,
agree.
Right?
I totally agree with you. When I first learned English, we're studying the SATs, the TOEFL test, like that's all like really complicated and academic English wording and not much daily words. So for me personally, I learned most of the daily expressions from the environment and after I came here. So I totally agree with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So besides family and social, another major thing we do here is academics because it's university, so But as international students, adjusting to new teaching styles, different expectations, or even learning in a second language can be really overwhelming. So how was your academic life here so far?
I just finished my 5th book of this quarter.
Wow.
That's
impressive.
Oh my god. So I was confident actually standing in the college the summer before it actually starts. And I took, I think it's biology 37. It's about brain dysfunction.
Oh.
And it crushed me.
Biology is always the hardest.
I took AP biology and it's so different. And I took it pass, no pass. And I almost no pass it.
Oh my god. You are lucky.
I'm lucky. Yeah. I'm lucky. And when the semester formally started, I met Human Core. It is a year-long series of classes that is the requirement for humanity departments. But it's like a very intense writing class, right, about humanities. So our first book we read is Plato's The Republic. And I was actually reading the Mandarin version of it because it's such a famous book, and I can't understand. Even in my native language, I can't understand what's talking about. And we have to write like a paper on it. So at that was the most stressful time in my whole college life. Well, I reached out to writing center. It really helps me a lot. And I think everyone should try out writing center. Whatever, if you're taking like writing 50 or 60 or academic English 20. Because the student staff there actually some of them are from humanities core, so they actually know like some of the rubric, the criteria, because I always think that writing is so subjective that you have to guess if the professor or the instructor who's grading you likes it or not.
Yeah, sometimes they have a personal preference, so it's not always following the rubric and the same like for every professor, so it is a complicated thing.
Yes.
And I'm really glad to hear that you use the campus resources, because there are a lot of campus resources exist, but sometimes it is just hard to find it or students don't know about it. So they could potentially lost a lot of chance and ways to improve themselves. So I'm glad you did that. Yes.
And one thing that I think people should really use those resources is you guys are paying for this, and we are paying so much more. Yeah. I think everyone, if you're hearing this podcast, should check out a lot of it.
Yeah. So finally, as we talk about your experiences so much, do you have any suggestions for other international students who might be going through similar challenges?
The first thing is do not rush. I've met someone who is freshman this year. She's super nervous about, the social life, and she's trying to reach out to as many friends as she could, and some of them might hurt her. So what I feel like is just take time. Don't rush on your social life or academic life. Even if you get like a no pass, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because if you have this mindset that everything will be okay, and we can do this step by step, you don't get to be that nervous and panic when something happens, or because in the new environment, there's definitely gonna be a lot of challenges. And my first advice will be just take it slow and take your time and don't rush. And the second thing is thinking about my own experience with my parents. I think no matter if it's your parents or a professor or your TAs or your friends, have good conversations with them. I think don't feel like it all ends when you get like a really bad grade from your professor. Maybe talk to them. Like don't think your parents just hates you because they don't support you on something. Maybe talk to them, right? Have good conversations always helps. And the last is to stay optimistic, which is something I cannot do. I still cannot fully do, but I think it's very important to stay optimistic. Everything will come through. Ultimately, you get to graduate, and that's a good thing.
I totally agree with that. Staying optimistic is always the good thing, no matter for your life in general or just for your mental health.
Oh my God,
That could also affect you a lot in many ways. So thank you so much for sharing. I'm sure a lot of people listening will really relate to what you've said. It's clear that being an international student can be tough, whether it's missing family, making friends, or keeping up with schoolworks. But I believe that there are always ways to figure it out and get through it. To everyone listening, we hope this episode gave you something helpful or at least made you feel less alone. Once again, a big thank you to our guest.
Yay!
Yay! Also, if you like our podcast, please leave a comment and review under the podcast. If you have any questions or idea, feel free to email us with isep-due.uci.edu. Thank you for listening and hope to see you again next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.